Hello everyone and welcome back to Inktoberfest. My name is Cassie and today we're going to be playing with inks and water to create some beautiful ghosted backgrounds. Let's take a look at some of the supplies that we'll be using. I'm going to be using some of the Maker Forte Color Hive inks. These are water reactive inks and that's important for what we're doing. You could also use distress inks or distress oxide inks for this technique. You're also going to need a blending tool. I'm using a blending brush, but a blending foam would also work. A clean paper towel. I like the soft Viva ones. You'll also need a stencil of your choice, a paintbrush, some water in both a spray bottle and a cup, and of course our paper. I'm using watercolor paper cut down to an A2 size card front. Okay, now it's time to get messy. I'm going to move these out of the way. And I'm going to bring on a craft mat to protect my work surface. I'll go ahead and put my paper down on my craft mat. For today's project, I'm going to be working with the Color Hive English Mustard color. It's a beautiful golden yellow. If you want to work with a different color, that's perfectly fine, as long as it is a water reactive ink. I'm going to start by using my blending brush to add some color to my paper. You can cover your entire background if you want. You could do multiple colors, do an ombre effect, whatever you want. For this project, I'm going to be keeping my color in that bottom corner, and I'm going to keep the very corner the darkest and fade out towards the white. The darker you have your color, the more contrast you can get when you add the water to it. Okay, I'm liking where this is, so I'm going to set the ink aside for right now. And I'm going to pull in my stencil. And I'm just going to figure out exactly how I want those dots to line up. This is the Maker Forte Polka Dance Square stencil. Again, you can use whatever your favorite stencil is. And I am laying it down on my paper. I'm going to hold the stencil down with my finger and lightly mist it with a spray bottle. You don't want to get too much water on there or the water will leak underneath the stencil. I'm then taking my paper towel and blotting up the water. I'm going inside each of those little dots to pick up the water that's sitting on the paper. This is also removing some of the ink, and that's what gives us our ghosted image. I'll then carefully remove the stencil and finish blotting off all the water. It's a little hard to see with the camera, but that ghosted image is just beautiful in that yellow. You can also see there's a little bit of water that got underneath the stencil and blurred the image a little bit, but that's okay. This is just a background and it doesn't have to be perfect. We're going to be adding more water splotches in a minute anyway. Okay, you can stop here with your background if you want, but I think I'm going to add just a little bit more. So now let's go ahead and bring our stencil back in, and I'm going to line it up in that white area up in the upper right hand corner. And I'm going to create kind of the reverse of what we just did in the lower left-hand corner. So I'm going to use the same English mustard ink and my blending brush and make some yellow polka dots up in the white area. Again, I'm trying to keep the darkest color up in that corner and then fading it into white. And I'll just keep building the color until it matches the other corner. This is looking pretty good, so I think I'm going to remove the stencil now. And I'm going to grab my cup of water and my paintbrush. I told you it would take care of those water splotches where the water seeped underneath the stencil. This is how we're going to do it. I'm just getting my brush wet and flicking some water over the inked areas. Then I'll bring in that paper towel and dab it off again. This creates ghosted watermarks. And of course I have to add the reverse on the upper corner. So I'm going to smash the ink onto my craft sheet and add some water. Then I'll use my paintbrush to flick some ink onto my card. Okay, I'm going to clean up this water and ink before I accidentally knock something over and make a huge mess. Let's take a look at our finished background. I love this ghosted look. It's very subtle, but it's also really pretty and very effective. This is a fun technique to try with different patterns and different colors to see what you love. Okay, now let's turn this into a quick and easy card. I've gone ahead and glued our background onto a standard A2 card base. And I have a flower and some leaves that I stamped earlier and I colored with some watercolors and then I cut out. These are from the Maker Forte Christmas Rose stamp set. I'm going to add in a little bit of doodling with a black pen in that corner just to give it a grounding, and I'm going to arrange my flower and leaves in the corner. I have the flower on a little bit of foam tape, so I'm going to pull off the backing and adhere that to the card. And I will adhere the leaves as well. You can add a sentiment now if you want. I think I'm going to wait to add a sentiment strip later when I know exactly who I'm going to send this card to. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you all have a wonderful day and take some time to get creative. Be sure to check back tomorrow for more Inktoberfest fun.